we're in a small group of 8 people, 8 professionals, and this was a more interactive session since we were such a close group instead of being in a room full of people like in TCU that we were over 100 in one single room, so everybody was talking over each other. So I personally like this IP better since we had more FaceTime with the other professionals. So that's where I got my list of the people. That's where we interacted more. So those got stuck to my head. And in this one, we went over a real world example of a family that went through first time parents that went through a horrible incident with their child. Their child was pushed aside. The parents' concerns were pushed aside. The family just was distraught of what happened due to the healthcare mistakes and errors. A lot of people in the healthcare that was in charge of the child overlooked simple procedures, didn't advocate, didn't hear the parents' concerns. Everybody was just like, oh, he'll be better. But what ended up happening was the child had jaundice, which resulted in him later having developed problems in like speech interaction. He is the cause of medical mistakes that could have been prevented if professionals like doctors, nurses, even social workers, if there was one in there. None was mentioned, but even if a social worker had been there, we could have helped at least in some way. So it was just a good establishing the team of not placing blame to one person, but to learning from that mistake. So now that we're interacting over here, we could have said, well, what we would have said, what we'd have done, what to learn from that situation, and then what approach to take towards to treating the patient and the family. Since as a social worker, your client isn't only the patient, it's also their family. You have to advocate for the family and for the patient. And for our third IP was the ambulatory care, and this one is also at University of Texas at South Science Center in Fort Worth. And in this one, we were also gathered in groups of 8, I believe, and we